Hello there, friends. It's Jimmy Maverick. Welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Maverick podcast. And today we're going to talk about wide receivers on a contract year. I love contract year players because of the upside they offer. You definitely need to know these names, and I'm going to give you my three favorites. So here we go.
Listen up. It's time for the Fantasy Maverick podcast, starring the guy who's going to help you win that fantasy championship, Jimmy Maverick.
Hey there, friends. Before I begin, I just wanted to say, if you haven't done so already, please be sure to like this video, comment, share this video with your friends, and of course, subscribe. It really helps me out. I do appreciate it, and I love to hear from you guys. So any comments you want to leave, please leave them down below. Hello there, friends. It's Jimmy Maverick. Welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Maverick podcast. Now, today we are going to talk about my favorite wide receivers on a contract year. There's definitely some interesting names out there, and there's a lot of players on a contract year this season as far as receivers go. In fact, I've got 18 in the top 200 that I will put up all their names so you know who they are. But obviously, some of these players are in better situations than others, that offer more upside than others. Those are the ones I want to talk about. So, but in the meantime, I've made no secret that I love contract year players. I love the upside of them. I love that they're playing for big money. And we're talking players that are coming off their rookie contracts. And that's who I identify in my app. In my perfect fantasy draft, you're going to find both gold dollar signs and silver dollar signs next to players. And what that means is if it's a gold dollar, that their contract expires at the end of this season. And if it's a silver dollar, it means their contract expires at the end of next season. Now, depending on the tier of the player, the bonuses that they receive from having that designation are different. And if they're in the elite tier, which for me is a top 24 player, the more valuable designation is the silver dollar designation. And the reason for this is because that most elite players do not go to their contract year. It's very rare to see a player go to a gold dollar contract year because they get the contract extension the year before that. So the upside year, the year you want to pay attention to is this season if their contract doesn't expire till the end of 2022. If they have a great season this year, they're going to get a massive payday on a contract extension, okay? For the most part, some players do go to a gold dollar contract year in the elite tier. This year, Nick Chubb is one, but Nick Chubb might receive his contract extension before the season starts. We'll see what happens there. But there are actually 3 players in the elite tier that are on silver dollar contract years, and that would be DK Metcalf at number 16, Calvin Ridley at number 17, and A.J. Brown at number 19. So that's fantastic. And while I do like all 3 of these players, the one I absolutely like the best for upside this year has got to be A.J. Brown. Holy cow. The more I'm researching and finding out more about the players and stuff, the more I am liking A.J. Brown. And I'm not the kind of person that normally takes a wide receiver in the second round. I'm one of those guys that likes to go running back, because the wide receiver field is so deep. And if you look at 2 of these names, both DK Metcalf and Calvin Ridley were guys that were available outside of the 3rd round. You could get him in the 4th round, and both those guys paid off handsomely. This year, that player for me is CeeDee Lamb. We'll get to that later. But I got to say, man, the upside potential of what A.J. Brown offers this year is fantastic. And it's not just his efficiency. He's been able to do amazing stats on very limited volume. Last year, he had like 80 catches or something like that. So if he can boost himself up to a 100-catch player, holy cow, that's a lot of extra opportunities to generate yards and score points. So for me, of these top 3, the one I absolutely would want the most is A.J. Brown. And I love the fact that he's right in the middle of the second round. Easy to get, especially if you're one of those guys that's picking in the second half of your draft. If you're picked number 6 through 12, it's going to be very easy to circle around and get A.J. Brown on the turnaround. And if you're going to go wide receiver early, this is the guy I would do. You've got the situation on the team where they got rid of Jonnu Smith and they got rid of Corey Davis. So who's going to catch all these passes? That's like 150 targets that are vacated. Derrick Henry's not going to catch him. He's not a pass catcher. So I don't know. What's the volume potential of A.J. Brown? Could he get 40% of the targets? If he gets 40% of the targets, he's going to be amazing. So he could be the #1 receiver, especially if he's getting 20 yards a catch. I mean, that's because that's what he does. So again, he's a guy I'm excited about. And of the elite tier, he would be the one that I want to get for sure. So definitely put a little star next to him when you're doing your draft list, because depending on how your draft goes, he might be the best choice on the board. So we'll see about that. And now the next player I really like is actually really deep on the draft board. He's currently sitting at like number 74. So we're talking, he is a late 6th round, early 7th round pick, and this guy offers top 50 value. Now, last year, he also offered top 50 value, but he totally burned me because he got injured in week 1, a season-ending injury in week 1, and it just totally blew the whole season. But it's Cortland Sutton. But here's the thing, man. His recovery is going great. His recovery was early in the year last year, so he's going to have basically a full year. They're saying he's going to be fully ready to go for training camp. That's what I like to hear. I don't like it when they say he'll be fully ready to go by week 1. No. They're saying he's going to be fully ready to go by the beginning of training camp. That's also very reassuring. And you've got 2 okay quarterbacks. You know, I mean, you got Drew Lock, you got Teddy Bridgewater. You know what? They're good enough. And this draft position offers outstanding value, nearly 2 rounds of value by selecting him in the late 6th or early 7th round versus what he can produce for you. And really, I mean, he offers wide receiver 1 volume. You know, he could do that. And on a contract year, could he outperform and go gonzo and get you 1,400 yards? Yeah, I mean, he's got the potential, and I know that the Jerry Jeudy's there, and I know that you've got Noah Fant there, so you got some other players, and there's going to be lots of ways to spread the ball around in that offense, but he is the wide receiver 1. And so just based on the low risk of taking him here, and just the fact that he basically offers you wide receiver 2 value in the 6th round, yeah, absolutely, I'd take him as my 2. So that's definitely a guy that you want to keep your eye on. I think I put a little star next to his name as well. So things are looking good for Sutton, and of course the upside for him is massive if he can put together a good year. Now, the next guy I'm interested in is also a guy who burned me last year, who I had labeled as a top 50 player. He doesn't rank as top 50 this year, but he is top 60 for value, and it's DJ Chark of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I got to say, man, I'm super excited about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Love Trevor Lawrence. You know, I think, you know, Travis Etienne they brought on. There are good offensive assets on this team. This is a team that's not going to have a very good defense. They're going to be behind a lot. They're going to lose a lot of games. It's going to be negative game script. That's good for DJ Chark. So, and he's going right at about the same time Cortland Sutton is at pick number 79. So he's like a mid 7th round pick. So he's even lower risk, you know, easier to get than Cortland Sutton. But shoot, again, the upside is tremendous. I'm a big fan of Urban Meyer. I'm a big fan of what he can do for the offense. So anyway, the fact that it is a gold dollar contract year for Chark, he's got to make it this year. He's got to do something. He can't pull what he did last year when he got, 650 yards or 4 touchdowns or whatever he got. No, the upside here is big, and I do like him. Although it'll be interesting to see if he ends up on any of my teams just because of the placement, whereas if I have a choice between Sutton and Chark, I'm going to take Sutton every single time at this point. So those are the 3 guys that I like the most, but there's other guys here who are interesting, right? You got Terry McLaurin in a silver dollar contract year. He's just outside the elite tier as far as at pick number 33, but you got Ryan Fitzmagic throwing him passes. I like the upside there. You got some other players that are kind of in make or break year. You got Christian Kirk, who is in the slot at Arizona. He I don't know if he's going to be an Arizona Cardinal next year, but he's still playing for his next contract. So he's got motivation to play. You've got Darius Slayton on a silver dollar contract year. McCole Hardman on a silver dollar. Now, McCole Hardman, can he move finally into the wide receiver 2 position? Now that Watkins is not on the team anymore. I mean, certainly the potential's been there, and he has the kind of efficiency that A.J. Brown has, but he's just never been able to get any volume. But again, he's at pick number 149. Wow, that's a great late-round wide receiver that I would be interested in. Who else you got? Paris Campbell, who is someone who hasn't done very much in his time at Indy, but now, can they bring Wentz back from the dead and make him a viable quarterback again? Paris Campbell is another player that would interest me. Marquise Brown, currently at pick number 98 on a silver dollar year. Certainly the other additions to the passing game actually help him because he's not going to be targeted as the 1 anymore. So, that might open things up for him. So there's some good plays here. Deebo Samuel's at number 85. He's playing with a rookie. He's probably going to be playing with a rookie quarterback at some point this year, but it is going to start. It's going to be Garoppolo to start the season. That's a very easy make as far as where you can get him in the draft at pick number 85 versus him pulling something where he could become like an every week starter in your flex position. So there's lots of good names here. I'm putting them up right now. So all the gold dollar players are on my left, and all the silver dollar players are on my right. So take a look at them, mark it off. And again, like I said, my app, once it's ready to go, all this stuff is already in there. But right now, I'm just waiting for the NFL to release their schedule so I can get the bye weeks and I can import all the data in from 2020, plus all the rookies and the bye week information, get that into the system. I'm currently working on putting in the projections right now. So that's great to look at what the value players are. And that's how Cortland Sutton popped out to me, is because just the excellent value that he offers relative to his draft position. That's something that the app shows you. And I should have this thing fully ready to go in about a month. That's what I'm looking at right now. So definitely stay tuned for that. And I'll of course, announce when that's ready to go. But like I said, who do you like best on this list? Who are the players that you're most excited in? Do you have any players you got any questions about? Man, leave me a comment down below. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe if you haven't done so already. I do appreciate it. And like I said, share, tell your friends, all that good stuff. So thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. And my next podcast, we're going to be talking about top 50 value players that you can get after pick number 50. One of them is Cortland Sutton, but I've got 3 others to talk to you about. So you definitely want to stay tuned for that. So thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. And have yourself a great day, everybody.